안녕하세요. dolallycrafts Karen입니다. Hi and welcome to another Christmas project at dolallycrafts. My name's Karen Coulter. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Mornington, Victoria. Almost all of the products I use today can be purchased in my online store by following the link down below. I'm not much of a salesperson. I'm here to have fun, to entertain and hopefully inspire you. If you would like to buy any of the products that I demonstrate today, feel free to pop down to my shop just down below. If you don't want to purchase, that's fine. I'm just here to provide a service to you guys and to give you some inspiration to use whatever you've got in your stash and hopefully maybe sell you a few products here and there. Okay. We're using the brightly gleaming paper DSP stack today. This is 12 by 12. I've got 2 sheets of it here, and the reason I'm using this paper is because this is the last 2 identical sheets that I've got from my DSP pack. Now we will be using the Christmas Gleaming stamp set, and I think they're called the Gleaming Ornaments punch pack, which you can find in the catalogue or online at the moment. Now I'm going to use a few embellishments that are no longer available, only because I bought a lot of this stuff last year before my husband got sick and didn't get a chance to use it, so I'm using it today. As I said, I've got these Star Designer elements. I'm also using some white baker's twine. I'm not sure whether we've got that anymore. I have a scrap of copper paper, copper cardstock. I have my Versamark. I'm actually going to be using gold embossing powder. I have my embossing buddy, which we don't sell anymore, but you can either use dryer sheets or I think talcum powder. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure I've seen people using it online, or you can buy these at other places like Spotlight. I know there's a few online stores here in Australia that still sell it. Now, as I said, I'm using the Christmas Gleaming stamp set. I'm going to be using Be Jolly This Season. This isn't a card today. This is a gift bag, and it's quite a large one. Okay, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' trimmer. You don't need to worry about the measurements or the score marks, only because they'll be on my blog, but they're really easy to follow. Now, on the Stampin' trimmer, the dark slider is the cutting blade. The light slider is the scoring blade. So we're going to bring in we're going to bring the paper to 2 inches here all the way along. Make sure I've got it lined up properly. And I'm going to score the whole length of the paper. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. Now, before I go any further, if you've got directional paper, you want, when it's up, when it's standing upright, you want the pattern. When I turn it this way, the pattern, this will be the bottom of the pattern, or the bottom of the bag. So when you turn it 90 degrees, you have to score it again at 2 inches the whole way, and then move this all the way down and find your 1/2 inch mark on this side of the scoring blade, or take it to 11.5 inches, which is, if you have your arm open, if you have the arm of the paper trimmer open, it'll measure 11.5 inches down there, but the 1/2 inch on this side of the trimmer, and score once again. So you're actually scoring 2 inches and 11.5 inch, and at the bottom 2 inches. Now you want to do that on both pieces, and because this isn't directional, it doesn't matter which way I score it. So one there, turn it this way, score it again at 2, and then at 11.5. Okay, so we have that done. Now, as I said, this bag is going to be absolutely huge today. because all we're taking off, I've put both pieces together. I'm going to bring in my paper snips, and that's the 1/2 inch score mark there. I'm just going to trim that slightly and get rid of those 2 pieces, and the same at this end, like so. Now I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to enforce all of those folds, all those score marks I've just put in. I'm going to reinforce them by burnishing. So there we go, that's one piece. If I seem a bit discombobulated today, I am. I was supposed to have filmed these earlier in the day, but hubby had an appointment. I don't know whether I've told you guys, hubby's got a false leg, and we've just I'll start putting my tear and tape along the fold lines where I need it to be, and I'm using tear and tape because when I use my Stampin' seal, I tend to wobble, and I need to get this as close to my score line as possible so that I get a nice edge. Yeah, so hubby's got a false leg, and he's gotten a new prosthetic, and he had to go today and have the measurements done for the new prosthetic. And we thought it would only be a simple process, but I ended up sitting outside wasting my time in the car for almost 3 hours on 2 separate visits today. So instead of being here filming, which I thought I'd be doing after a quick trip there and back, I ended up wasting most of the day sitting in the car. So I'm really racing through today's work on here because yeah, I got held up. Okay, I'm also on one piece putting the tear and tape across the bottom on the 2 inch, across the 2 inch fold there, and also along here. So yeah, I'm supposed to have been filming 2 videos today, and I don't think I'm going to get a chance to. So it means tomorrow afternoon, with all the other running around I've got to do, I've got to film another 2 projects tomorrow. So yeah, that's why I'm slightly discombobulated at the moment. Okay, this is the 1/2 inch fold, as you can see. What I'm going to do is peel off the backing. Bear with me. Sorry about that, my mum rang. Hi mum. Okay, so we've peeled off the backing paper for that piece, and I'm going to bring in the other piece of cardstock and just line it all up right the way along there, okay, and give it a good press down, and that way it's sealed. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll push that over, and because it's the same size, all I've got to do is fold that over and tack it down. So once again, peel off the backing paper, and then just fold this over and press it down the whole way along, and there we go. That's the beginning of our bag. Okay, now I've got to come in with the scissors, and along these fold marks, I've just got to snip up to the 2 inch on all 4 of the score lines. I could have done this before, but never mind. Okay, and last one, straight up to that first score mark. Okay, now I'm going to actually fold that over, just make sure Okay, what I'm going to do is put some tear and tape just on this side as well, because you're not going to put anything too heavy in this bag because it is only a paper bag, but you want the bottom to be secure enough that you know nothing is going to fall out of it, like the bottom's not going to give way. So I'm just putting, I've already got tape on the other end, so I'm just putting a little bit of a little bit of tape on this end, and then peeling off the backing paper. Like so. Flip this over and peel off these two pieces as well. And then the two long pieces as well. And then what we're going to do is fold these two pieces in first, and then line up the edge of the bag like so. So that piece is all folded on that edge, on that score mark, and the same on there. Okay, so we know that those two ends are square, and then we're going to bring this piece over and do the same all the way along, like so. And that is our bag complete. As you can see, it really is a deep bag, and all we're going to do is just fold the two top pieces like so and give them just a bit of a creasing there. I'm going to come in with my hole punch. Now this is approximately 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch. You can't buy it in our online store, but if you've got a normal hole punch at home, one that you'd use on a piece of computer paper or whatever, that is fine, and you would end up with perfectly measured holes. Now I'm going to line this up. We've got our centerpiece here, so there's 4 inches that side, 2, 3, 4 inches that side. So I've got to bring that in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite 5. There we go. So we know that that is now measuring equal distance from the center on both sides. And what I'm going to do is come in with my pencil and mark it 2 inches from the center, like so. And then holding the two pieces together, I'm going to come in with my hole punch and punch holes there, and then do the same thing this end, holes there. And this is how our bag will fold up. The rest of it is fairly open, but that will be where we fasten it up. Now, I'm just going to move that aside, and I'm bringing in my piece of copper foil cardstock and my embossing buddy, which I'm going to smear all over there. And then come in with the Versamark and my two stamps, straight down and straight back up again. Got to be careful because it is likely to smear or slide over the copper foil. Now I'm coming in with my gold my gold embossing powder, and I'm just looking around for a piece of paper that I normally use underneath. Okay, and what do I do with my embossing buddy? smear that all over there so that I'm not wasting any of my embossing powder. I've got to be careful because I've got a fan going over there. This could go everywhere if I'm not careful. Okay, just tap that off. Yep, I'll just do one more. Okay, that's fine. Static cling was bad on that. Now, I've just realised there is one more that I've got to do. And I've just got to find it. Whoops. Bring that back in. And this is the sentiment. And it's going to just say, be jolly this season. So I don't want to ink up the ampersand. But what I'm going to do is ink the whole thing up. Oh, that was an accident waiting to happen. Almost put my Versamark straight into the straight into the embossing powder. Now I'm just wiping off all the Versamark from the ampersand, and then we will just stamp and be jolly this season. There. I think I actually smudged that. No, it should be okay. Alright, pop this away. That can go over there. The lid can go on. And in with a heat gun. Okay, all nicely done. I'm just going to trim this up. Okay, in with the punches. Unlike yesterday's, I think it was, I used the gold embossing so it stands out a little bit more on the copper, and I actually think it looks really, really nice. Now I'm going to bring in my corner punch. Because this will hang off the bag. So back in with my hole punch and punch a hole there, and then with these two I'm going to bring in my, if I can find it, my paper piercer. I've had this one for years, so I'm just going to poke a hole in the top of the ornament like so, and then bring in my twine so those two will actually hang together like that. And what I'm going to do to make sure that they actually stay together like I want them to, in with a glue dot, and just pop one there, and then bring this one over and just have it hanging like so. Move all of these aside. Now, I don't know whether I mentioned earlier in the video, this ribbon is no longer available. I checked. This is one that I bought last year in a double pack, I think. So if you have any in your stash, use it. If not, if you can find a Night of Navy, any width is okay, and it'll just go well with this bag. So in the back, then back to the front again. Make sure the back's nice and neat. Okay. Trim a piece off. Make sure these two pieces are approximately the same length. There we go. Just neaten the edge up on both of them. Going to do a loop on that and then just trim the top off like so. Pop the ribbon through. And our tag. Right. Try and neaten the bow up. Just going to trim a bit more off, like so. If you don't want your ribbon to fray, a good idea is to come in with a cigarette lighter and just very lightly burnish the ends with the cigarette lighter, and that will stop your ribbon from fraying. Okay, and there's our bag for today. Really cute. You could even have those sitting down here as well, but I don't mind it like that. It just gives it a bit more bling. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the way that's turned out. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.